A charity just down the road from you filmed a 2-minute video on a borrowed phone in a plain room with the curtains open for light, and it quietly moved more people than a glossy brochure ever did. That is the strange and encouraging truth about video for small organizations. The thing that actually reaches an audience is almost never the budget. It is a real face, a real voice, and a story told plainly. This video is about making video marketing work when you have almost no money and almost no time, which is the situation nearly every small charity is actually in. One honest note before we begin: this channel is educational only, and nothing here is legal, tax, or privacy law advice. When you film people, and especially the people you serve, treat their consent and their dignity as part of the job. Follow the privacy rules that apply where you operate, and only record and share what people have genuinely agreed to. With that settled, let us make something worth watching. Why video works now. It is worth being clear about why video earns a place in your limited hours at all. People are wired for faces and voices. A short clip of one real person explaining why your work matters carries a warmth and trust that a page of text simply cannot, because the viewer can read the eyes and hear the catch in the voice. Video is also the format the big platforms push hardest right now, so a decent clip tends to reach further, for free, than the same message written down. And here is the part that matters most for a small team. The gap between expensive video and homemade video has almost closed. The phone in your pocket shoots at a quality that would have cost a fortune 10 years ago, and audiences have quietly stopped expecting polish. A slightly rough, clearly sincere video from a real charity often beats a shiny corporate one, precisely because it feels true. So the barrier is no longer money or equipment, it is knowing what to point the camera at, and that is entirely learnable. There is one more quiet advantage worth naming. A video lets a small charity be seen doing the work, in the actual place, with the actual people, and that visible reality builds trust faster than any promise on a page. For an organization that most of the public has never heard of, a short, honest film is often the first proof that you are real, that you are careful, and that the money you ask for goes somewhere worth going. One video, one message. The most common mistake is to cram everything into a single video. Your history, your services, 3 different appeals, the upcoming gala, and a plea for volunteers, all in 90 frantic seconds. The result says nothing because it tries to say everything. So before you touch a camera, decide the single thing this one video is for. One video, one message, one action you want the viewer to take. Maybe it is simply this is who we help and why. Maybe it is meet the volunteer who changed a life this year. Maybe it is here is exactly what your gift buys. Write that one idea down in a single plain sentence, and if you cannot, you are not ready to film yet. Everything else, every shot and every word should serve that one sentence. The videos you admire from large organizations are not doing more than this. They are doing less, on purpose, and doing it clearly. Story beats production. Here is the idea that frees you from needing a budget. A story well told on cheap gear will always beat a weak story on expensive gear. Fancy cameras, music, and motion graphics are the seasoning, not the meal. The meal is a person the viewer can care about, a real situation, and a small, honest change. So build your video as a tiny story rather than a list of facts. Start with a specific person or moment, not with your mission statement. Show the need in human terms, then show your charity stepping in, then show what became possible. That simple shape, someone, a problem, a change, is older than film itself, and it works on a phone in a car park just as well as it does in a studio. If you find yourself worrying about transitions and color grading before you have found your story, you are polishing an empty plate. The gear you already own, let us make the equipment question disappear, because it stops more charities than it should. You almost certainly already own everything you need to start. A modern smartphone shoots more than good enough video. For the 2 things that actually make homemade video look and sound amateur, there are nearly free fixes. The first is shaky footage, so brace the phone against a wall, a table, or a stack of books, or buy a small tripod for the price of a couple of coffees. The second and the more important one is bad sound. Viewers forgive rough pictures, but they switch off instantly from muffled audio. So film somewhere quiet, get the phone close to whoever is speaking, And if you can stretch to one purchase, make it a cheap clip-on microphone. For light, you do not need a kit at all. Face a window, put the daylight on the person's face rather than behind them, and you are most of the way to a clean, professional look for nothing. A simple shot list, turning up with a camera and no plan is how you end up with an hour of unusable footage and no video. The fix is a shot list, which is just a short plan of the pictures you need written before you arrive. It protects the most precious things you have, which are your time and the goodwill of the people letting you film them. Keep it humble. Note the main person talking to camera or being interviewed. Then note a handful of what are called cutaways, the supporting shots you lay over the talking, hands at work, a room in use, a small detail that shows the cause. A few seconds of each is plenty. With one main interview and 5 or 6 honest cutaways, you have everything you need to build a complete moving little film, and you will be in and out quickly instead of fumbling and reshooting while busy people wait. Film people with respect. The people you serve are not stock footage, and the moment you point the camera at them, you take on a real responsibility. Consent is the heart of it. Before you film anyone, explain plainly what the video is for, where it will appear, and how long it may stay online, and get their agreement in a form you can keep, ideally in writing. Make that agreement genuinely free. Nobody should ever feel that help or their place in your program depends on being filmed, and a person in a vulnerable moment always keeps the right to say no or to change their mind later. Think hard about faces, names, and small details that could expose or embarrass someone, and when in doubt, protect the person over the shot. You can tell a powerful story without a recognizable face at all, using hands, a voice, a silhouette, or a willing volunteer standing in. Store your footage and your consent records safely, use them only in the way people agreed to, and be ready to take a video down if someone withdraws. None of this dampens a good film. A story told with obvious respect is more moving, not less, because the audience can feel that the people in it were treated as partners rather than as props. Short and always captioned. When you edit, 2 rules carry most of the weight. First, keep it short. For social media, aim for under a minute or 2. Almost every homemade video is too long, and the cure is to cut hard, start at the most interesting moment, and stop the second your point is made. If a sentence does not earn its place, remove it. Second, and this one is not optional, add captions. The large majority of people watch social video with the sound off, at least at first. So a video without words on screen is a video most people never actually hear. Captions also open your work to viewers who are deaf or hard of hearing, which is simply the right thing to do. Most phone and social apps can now generate captions automatically in a few taps, and you only need to read through and fix the mistakes. Short, subtitled, and started at the good bit. That alone puts you ahead of most charity video out there. Where the video works hardest, a video that sits unseen on a hard drive helps no one, so plan where it will live before you even film. The same short clip can work in many places. Pin it to the top of your social channel, embed it on the relevant page of your website, where it tends to lift donations more than text does, and drop it into your email newsletter, where a still image with a play button reliably pulls people in. You can also put it to work in advertising. If your charity holds a Google Ad grant, that is a grant your organization applies for and manages itself, and this channel plays no part in it and confers no funding, but a video you have already made can support the campaigns you choose to run through it. Get comfortable with the idea that one good video is not a single post. It is an asset you place in 5 or 6 spots and reuse for a year. Think about the small moments too. The same clip can greet a new subscriber, sit inside a grant application to show a funder your work in motion, or play on a screen at an event while people arrive. When you begin to see each video as something that lives in many places rather than passing by once, the few hours it took to make it start to look like one of the best investments a small charity can make. From recap, let us gather it up. Video works because people trust faces and voices, and the budget gap has all but vanished, so your phone is genuinely enough. Give each video one message and one clear action. Remember that a real story on cheap gear beats a thin one on expensive gear, so find your person and your change first. Steady the shot, get the sound close and clean, and like faces from a window. Arrive with a small shot list of one main speaker and a few cutaways. Cut it short, start at the good bit, and always add captions. Then place that one video everywhere it can work, from your site to your newsletter to your social feed, and through all of it, film people with their consent and their dignity intact. None of this needs a production company or a spare $1,000. It needs a clear message, a true story, a steady phone, and the respect to film people well. Do that a few times and you will build a small library of honest videos that keep working long after you made them, quietly telling the world what your charity is for. I cannot promise you a viral hit, and anyone who does is selling something, but I can promise this approach is within reach of a team of one on a shoestring. If it is useful, subscribe for more practical charity marketing you can actually use, and take a look at the companion written guide linked below, which lays these steps out so you can follow them at your own pace, one video at a time.